What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be covering this last week of updates of all we know about Rust Console Next Gen Edition. This is going through all the new graphical comparisons and graphical images that we've got, as well as new Q&As. And also we're going to be talking about where is the game and sort of what state could it be in at this moment in time. Are we going to see something that will suggest when this game is actually going to come out, or are we going to be waiting a little longer for that? 31st of March is when we got our first Q&A for the week, and this was the question that was asked. Will we get more options for community server providers? And the answer being potentially. We are currently in talks with additional server providers, and we'll share more info about this closer to release. Now, in terms of community servers, a lot of people dislike Gportal, as well as obviously people like Gportal as well. Myself, I haven't had the best interactions with Gportal in terms of the DDoSing issue. I think that's first and foremost the biggest issue surrounding community servers. And by the way, DDoSing will always be a thing with servers. It just depends if you have to pay more in terms of getting someone booted off for a community server, but it's always going to be a thing. But to have multiple community server providers, I don't think is a bad thing whatsoever. And they've just let us know that they're in talks with additional server providers, but nothing is confirmed as of yet. The next screenshot that Double 11 had dropped on their socials was this one, and my god, these graphics look great, don't they? I mean, the water looks so much better, the terrain looks a lot better, the nice glimmer or glimpse of the sun as well. These are really promising things to see from the game. Now, I'm hoping this is like in-game and there's no filters or anything of that such, because at first we had in-game footage. It would be nice if this was like an in-game photo and there was no filters applied to it. Let's say there isn't any filters applied and this is an in-game screenshot of what the graphics will actually look like, then it looks just so much better than what we had first seen in that teaser trailer. One thing I also want to know is, what are they taking this on? As in, what console? Is this like the Xbox Series X and the highest PlayStation 5, or is this the Xbox Series S or the lower PlayStation 5? That's something I also want to kind of gauge to see what graphics are they on. Are they on the newest console, like the best console you can get for your money, or are they on the lower tier consoles? But yeah, everything looks just so much clearer, and also in the background there is like very little shadows, and that's great because right now we have a very vibrant landscape within Rust Console in the current version of things, but when it comes to the shadows and the darkness of it, you cannot see a thing. There's like zero chance you're gonna see someone within the shadows, and you're gonna get grubbed 99% of the time. But with this screenshot, the shadows look like they're not as prominent, which is great to see. Now, moving on to the second Q&A that Rust Console had dropped, Double 11 had said, or the question is, what will happen to the old gen PTB in the future? And their answer was this: PTB on old gen will remain the same. However, the changes will be a lot less, as future updates for old gen will be focused solely on improvements and bug fixes. New gen will have its own PTB. So this is great to see. Hopefully the PTB may be something that is released before the release of the game, just to, you know, test things out. And one thing a lot of people are asking for now is it going to cost? Because if we're going to have to pay for the new version of this game and also the PTB, there's going to be a lot of riots going on and a lot of keyboard warriors, and rightly so. I don't think you should charge for both of these games. And to the best of my knowledge, I didn't pay for the PTB when I paid for the main branch of the game. This came as free. So I'll be interested to see what they say in response to that. Next, we get another graphic image. Again, the game looks really great, the terrain looks great, and yeah, there's not really much I can say. Like, we keep on seeing these really nice graphical features of like in-game, but at the end of the day, as I've always said, how many are they going to put out before something concrete is said? Because we can only go so long seeing these graphical images before. A lot of players are now saying, where's the game? Are we going to get anything surrounding a release date? Is there going to be a beta? What's going to happen? Are we going to get the game soon, or is this going to be something that will come in like December 31st, 2 minutes before 2026? This leads us on to our last Q&A, which came out today, being April 4th. Will the new gen version support the use of keyboard and mouse? And the answer was no. Keyboard and mouse will not be supported on any version of Rust Console Edition and will remain a bannable offense. And I'm not going to lie, some of these questions that they've answered this week, it's like this one especially, there's people asking for it, but even I was like, to be honest, this Q&A really wasn't needed. Of course, yeah, clarification is good, But come on, if it's bannable now, why would they then flip the switch 180 and be like, oh no, you can actually play now? Because I think it would cause more hassle on their end than it would do good. Like, I still think cheating would be a huge thing like it is. So in my opinion, this was a waste of a Q&A, but again, they're clarifying for anyone that, you know, all the cheaters out, the people that are asking for this, most of them are probably cheating and they're like, can I, you know, I'm cheating right now, but can it be legit in the future? And that was the final Q&A of the week. Now we've had 2 graphics and around 3 Q&As. And you know, some of them, like, people like, this isn't enough, we need more Q&As. And again, it's sort of thing of, they're kind of leading us on, but with other games coming out such as Deadside, there's only so long people are going to be able to do this for. And one thing myself and Jades, of course, have said is that there could be a potential beta. This is something I had asked Pedro. I asked Pedro simply, can you confirm whether there will be a beta or not? Now, of course, he would probably say no, as in he wouldn't confirm if it was going to be, you know, happening. But he did say this, which was very interesting. He said, at the moment, there's no beta, open or closed, ongoing. And there's no confirmation that we will have one before releasing the new gen version. Shutting down the fact that, you know, there may be a beta before the game. So, by the looks of things, we're not going to be getting one. This is good and bad. Good being, the game may actually be a lot more in progress, forward in progress, than we may think. Then it might come out earlier than we may think, because obviously they've said the target's 2025. People are either saying the summer or the fall of this year. The bad thing is that we still don't know when we're getting this game, so we don't know for sure. Well, we know now basically with this information that we won't be getting an earlier version of the game. So now we're just waiting on the game, if that makes sense, and we don't know obviously when that is going to be out. So in the first week of April, really haven't had anything concrete to do with the next gen version of the game, and I'm not gonna like upload daily of updates that I've already covered like 20 times already. If there's anything that comes out, you know, I'll obviously upload it, but for now, those are all the updates we have for the next gen version of this game. Apart from that, there's not really much else I can cover or really talk about, since I've spoken about most things to do with Rust Console and the next gen version. I'm hoping that it comes out in the summer. May 21st is when this game will be the 4th year anniversary. So if they were going to drop it anytime soon, then there would be a trailer this month, which I hope there is. Or just some gameplay. Instead of photos, put some gameplay of you walking for about 5 seconds. Something new just to keep the people entertained and the community hyped for this, because these Q&As that some of them are like, yeah, they're good, but for the most part, you know, it's just not like, oh my god, yeah, fair enough. It's just like, oh yeah, I could have guessed that. Like MK being compatible in the game, most players with a brain could have guessed that, you know, no was the answer to that. And the fact that we'll be getting new community server providers, May was going to happen because a lot of things happen with G-Portal, and obviously a PTB with new gen. All these things we kind of had in the back of our heads that were going to happen anyway. There's nothing that's really come forward that we're like, oh my god, alright, fair enough. Apart from, I would say, the anti-cheat. The anti-cheat one was surprising to me. But anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, start a conversation over on my Twitter or in the comment section below as always. Follow my TikTok and join up the Discord if you do have a Discord account. And thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Take care.